First in the spotlight tonight is Robin Armstrong, a business consultant from Northamptonshire. He's answering questions on the band Pearl Jam. Next, Des Gallagher, an office worker from Manchester, on the Watergate scandal. Matthew Smith is a publishing intern from Whitley Bay. His specialist subject, Middlesbrough Football Club. And Sarah Greenan, a barrister from Leeds. Her subject, poet A.E. Houseman. Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, John Humphreys. Tonight, as ever, 4 contenders are about to sit in the black chair. It might look comfortable enough, but there is little comfort to be found under the glare of the lights and the pressure of the clock. There's not much time to think either. You know it or you don't, and that is the real challenge, time. They get 2 minutes of questions on their specialist subject and then 2.5 on general knowledge. So, let's have our first contender, please. And your name is?
Robin Armstrong.
Your occupation?
Business consultant.
And your chosen subject?
Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam, in 2 minutes. What is the title of the American rock band Pearl Jam's debut UK single from the album 10? It begins with the lyrics, "Son," she said, "have I got a little story for you?"
Alive.
Yep. What was the name of the band's drummer who was fired in August 1994 and was replaced by Jack Irons?
Dave Abruzzese.
Yep. At which venue was the band playing on the 8th of July 2003 when the crowd responded so enthusiastically that the floor and stage shook violently?
Pass.
After the group Mother Love Bone split, 2 of its members, Jeff Ament and Stone Gossard, recruited vocalist Eddie Vedder and others to form what eventually became Pearl Jam. The group was briefly named after which basketball player?
Mookie Blaylock.
Yes. In 1998, the band released a behind-the-scenes video of the recording of the album Yield that included footage of them rehearsing songs for their 97 date supporting the Rolling Stones. What's the title of the video?
Single Video Theory.
Yep. In 95, Pearl Jam recorded the album Mirror Ball with a Canadian singer-songwriter whom the band had performed with several times. Who was he?
Neil Young.
Yes. What was the record label to which Pearl Jam were contracted from their debut album 10 in 92 to Riot Act in 2002?
Epic.
Yep. Which former Soundgarden drummer joined Pearl Jam in 98, replacing Jack Irons? He made his first appearance with them on CBS's Late Show with David Letterman.
Matt Cameron.
Yep. Which Pearl Jam song on the Versus album includes the lyrics, "I will stare the sun down till I go blind, I won't change direction and I won't change my mind"?
Indifference.
Yes. For which album did Pearl Jam win a Grammy for Best Recording Package in 2015?
Lightning Bolt.
Yep. Which Bob Dylan song did Eddie Vedder and Mike McCready perform at the 30th anniversary tribute concert for Dylan on the 16th of October 92?
Masters of War.
Yep. The second Pearl Jam album, Versus, contains the song WMA, based on an incident Eddie Vedder saw involving racial harassment by the police. What do the letters WMA stand for?
White Male American.
Yes. What is the name of the independent record label founded by Pearl Jam in 2009? Albums released on it include Backspacer and Lightning Bolt.
Monkey Wrench.
Is correct, and you are out of time. You have just 1 pass. The stage shook and the floor shook as well at Madison Square Garden. You've scored, Robin, 12 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Des Gallagher.
Your occupation?
Office worker.
And your chosen subject?
The Watergate scandal.
Watergate, in 2 minutes. The Watergate scandal in the 70s eventually led to President Richard Nixon's resignation, although originally the break-in at the Watergate complex was dismissed by Nixon's press secretary as a third-rate burglary attempt. Who was he?
Ron Ziegler.
Yep. Who devised Operation Gemstone, which ultimately led to the botched attempt to wiretap the phones and burgle the Democratic National Committee headquarters? He was the counsel for the committee to re-elect the president.
G. Gordon Liddy.
Yep. During the break-in, Al Baldwin acted as lookout from a room in a motel opposite the Watergate complex. Which motel?
The Johnson.
Yes, Howard Johnson. What was the name of the chairman of the Democratic National Committee who was one of the prime targets of the phone bugs planted during the break-ins?
Lawrence O'Brien.
Yes. Which inexperienced attorney was briefly appointed as counsel for the 5 men arrested for the Watergate burglaries, although the attorney of record was Joseph Rafferty?
Keneally.
Douglas Caddy. What code name was given by the Washington Post to the anonymous informant who passed confidential information about Watergate to their reporters, Carl Bernstein and Bob Woodward?
Deep Throat.
Yep. In July 74, which of the House Judiciary Committee articles of impeachment against Nixon accused him of failing to produce papers and other items and disobeying the committee's subpoenas requiring him to do so?
Obstruction of Congress.
It was the third article. Who replaced Richard Kleindienst as Attorney General in 73 but resigned later that year rather than fire the Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox?
Elliot Richardson.
Yes. What was the name of Cox's deputy who temporarily took over as the Watergate Special Prosecutor after Cox was dismissed at the so-called Saturday Night Massacre?
Bork.
Henry Ruth. Which committee of the House of Representatives did Hillary Rodham serve on during their investigations into Watergate?
The Senate.
No, the House Judiciary Committee. Yeah. What was the name of the acting director of the FBI who resigned following revelations that he had destroyed documents from the safe of the Watergate conspirator E. Howard Hunt?
L. Patrick Gray.
Yes, one of the White House tapes that Nixon was forced to hand over was regarded as the smoking gun because it proved that he had discussed using the CIA to inhibit the FBI's investigation. The tape was from what date in 72?
June the 23rd.
Is correct. No passes, Des. You have scored 8 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Matthew Smith.
Your occupation?
I'm a publishing intern.
And your chosen subject?
Middlesbrough Football Club.
Middlesbrough Football Club in 2 minutes. Here we go. Who was the Middlesbrough manager between 86 and 1990 when the club nearly went out of business and the staff found themselves locked out of the ground?
Bruce Vioch.
Yep. Which board member brought together a consortium responsible for saving the club from liquidation in 1986? He became Middlesbrough's youngest director when he joined the board in November 84, aged 26.
Steve Gibson.
Yes. What was the name of the ground where Middlesbrough played their last home game in 1903 before moving to their long-time home, Ayrton Park?
Linthorpe Road.
Yep. Which player, who originally signed from Albion Rovers, was Borough's leading scorer for 5 consecutive seasons between 86-87 and 1991?
Bernie Slaven.
Yep. In 75, Middlesbrough won the Anglo-Scottish Cup. Which team did they beat in the two-legged final?
Fulham.
Yep. Who became the first player to cost £1,000 when Middlesbrough signed him from Sunderland in February 1905?
Alf Common.
Yes. Who was Borough's regular goalkeeper during 1956-57 when Brian Clough played his first full season for the club and scored 40 goals?
Dave Cumming.
Peter Taylor. Which Cameroon international scored for Middlesbrough when they won the final of the 2004 Carling Cup by 2-1 against Bolton Wanderers?
Joseph Desiree Job.
Yes, known as the White Feather, the Italian forward Fabrizio Ravanelli signed for Middlesbrough from Juventus in 1996. To which club was he sold the following season?
Napoli.
No, Marseille. Which lower league team did Borough beat in a replay in the 97 FA Cup semi-finals before losing to Chelsea in the final?
Chesterfield.
Correct. What was the name of the Brazilian striker who became the club's most expensive signing when he joined from Dutch club SC Heerenveen in January 2008?
Afonso Alves.
Yes. Which team did Middlesbrough beat by 9-0 in August 58, the first match of the new season?
Brighton Hove Albion.
Yep. In 1988, Middlesbrough won a playoff final against the team that had finished fourth bottom in the First Division and condemned them to relegation. Which team?
Chelsea.
Yes. What was the name of the former England international wing half who was the first player to have captained Middlesbrough, Newcastle United and Sunderland?
Stan Anderson.
He is correct. And you have no passes, Matthew. You have 12 points. And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Sarah Greenan,
Your occupation?
barrister.
And your chosen subject?
The Life and Poetry of A.E. Houseman.
A. Houseman, in 2 minutes. Here we go. 2 collections of Houseman's poems were published during his lifetime. A Shropshire Lad was the first. What was the title of the second, first published in 1922?
Last Poems.
Yep. In which Worcestershire town did Houseman spend much of his early years? He went to the local grammar school from where he won a scholarship to Oxford.
Bromsgrove.
Yep. According to the opening line of poem 23 of A Shropshire Lad, to which town do the lads in their hundreds come in for the fair?
Ludlow.
Yes. In what subject was Houseman appointed as a professor at University College London in 1892? He left in 1911 for a similar post at Cambridge.
Latin.
Yep. Which future politician attended Houseman's lectures at Cambridge and wrote that the severity of Houseman's presentation was the severity not of passionlessness, but of suppressed passion, passion for true poetry and passion for truthfulness?
Enoch Powell.
Yes, what event of 1895 prompted the writing of the poem whose opening line is, "Oh, who is that young sinner with handcuffs on his wrists?"
The trial of Oscar Wilde.
Yes, how does Houseman describe the villages of Clunton and Clunbury, Clungenford and Clun in the epigraph to poem 50 of A Shropshire Lad?
The quietest places under the sun.
Yes, Houseman's edition of the poem Astronomica was published between 1903 and 1930. To which Roman astrologer is the original poem attributed?
Manilius.
Yes, at what branch of the Patent Office did Houseman work as a clerk from 1882 to 1892?
Pass.
Which hill that is actually in Worcestershire is celebrated in poem 21 of A Shropshire Lad?
Bredon.
Yes, which annual lecture named after the first editor of the Dictionary of National Biography did Houseman give in 1933 on the name and nature of poetry?
Leslie Stephen.
Correct. What is the title of the poem about the death of a soldier that was first published at the height of the Boer War and begins, "Oh, hard is the bed they have made him, and common the blanket and cheap"?
Illich Jasset.
Yes, what was the name of Houseman's brother who published a biography of him and a posthumous collection of his poems?
Lawrence.
Yes, which distinguished physicist wrote that when Houseman delivered his last lecture days before his death in April 1936, he was terribly ill and must have had invincible determination to lecture in such a state?
Thompson.
Yes, indeed, J.J. Thomson. You had just one pass, Sarah. The branch of the Patent Office where he worked in 1882 for 10 years was the Trademarks Registry. You have scored 13 points. So that's the end of that high-scoring round. Let's have a look at all the scores. In fourth place, 8 points, Des Gallagher. Joint second place, 12 points apiece, Robin Armstrong and Matthew Smith. First place with 13 points, Sarah Greenan. So it is the general knowledge round now, and if there is a tie at the end of it, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they are tied on passes as well, there will be a tie break. And incidentally, the 6 highest scoring runners-up will also be able to claim a place in the semi-finals. So plenty to play for. Let's get on with it and ask Des to join us again, please. And you have 8 points, Des, but you now have 2.5 minutes of general knowledge to catch up and overtake the rest. Here we go. Which religion was founded in America by Joseph Smith in about 1830 and developed by Brigham Young after Smith's death in 1844?
Mormons.
Yep, a single piece of which fruit of the genus Musa is called a finger? A bunch is called a hand.
Pass.
Erica Leonard is the real name of a British author whose erotic novels topped the bestseller list in 2012 and 2015. Who is she?
Grey.
E.L. James. Characters created by E.F. Benson have been played on television by Prunella Scales and Geraldine McEwen in the 1980s and by Miranda Richardson and Anna Chancellor in 2014. Which characters?
Pass.
What nationality is Alfonso Cuarón, the director of the award-winning film Gravity?
Spanish.
Mexican. What is the name of the international airport opened in 1987 on a dockland site in the borough of Newham?
City of London.
Yes, London City. Who published Inquiry into the Cause and Effect of the Variolae Vaccinae in 1798 that were the results of his inoculation of an 8-year-old boy called James Phipps?
Lister.
Edward Jenner. Which capital city was known as the Paris of the Middle East because of its vibrant nightlife? The bloody civil war that started in 1975 put an end to that reputation.
Sarajevo.
Beirut. In Britain, what is the alternative popular name for the common seal?
Pass.
Humphrey Repton, who died in 1818, was a celebrated designer whose work can be seen at Longleat, Woburn Abbey and Harwood House, among many other places. What did he design?
Furniture.
Gardens or landscapes. In Germanic legend, which warrior hero killed the fire-breathing dragon Fafnir?
Tannhauser.
Siegfried. What household item takes its name from the Greek for at a distance and the Latin for to see?
Pass.
The composer Carl Nielsen, whose works include 6 symphonies and the operas Saul and David and Masquerade, is from which country?
United States.
Denmark. What term is used to describe a disease or disorder that is always present in a specific region or in a specific group of people?
Localised.
Endemic. How was William Joyce, who broadcast propaganda from Germany to Britain during the Second World War, better known?
Lord Haw-Haw.
Yes, which British actor received Oscar nominations for his performances in the films The Talented Mr. Ripley and Cold Mountain?
Jude Law.
Yeah. What Italian word was introduced into English by the writer Robert Burton in the 17th century and now refers to the class of people in a society who read, write and talk about fashionable literature?
Literati.
Yes, literati. You had 4 passes. The household item that comes from at a distance and the Latin for to see, television. The common seal is also the harbour seal. Map and Lucia were those characters created by E.F. Benson. And a single piece of fruit of the genus Musa called a finger is a banana. Hence the hand, yeah. I know. Des, you've got a total now of 13 points. And now Robin again, please. And you start this round with 12 points, Robin, with your knowledge of Pearl Jam. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge. 2.5 minutes, starting now. Which hereditary blood disease seriously affected Alexei, the son of Tsar Nicholas II?
Pass.
In 1998, Ricky Tomlinson first appeared as the layabout head of which television family?
The royal family.
Yeah, which battle of the winter of 1942 to 43 is commemorated by the Motherland Calls, an enormous statue of a winged female holding a sword aloft. It was completed in 1967, stands by the River Volga.
Stalingrad.
Yep, the name given to the luxurious campsite near Calais, where Henry VIII and Francis I of France met in June 1520, was Field of the Cloth of...
Pass.
In 2014, which Australian animal was recognised as a distinct species and not as a wild dog, as previously thought?
Dingo.
Yeah. Which Irish actor plays the title role in Neil Jordan's 1996 film Michael Collins?
Liam Neeson.
Yes. In Italian cuisine, what organ of an animal's body is cooked in olive oil with sage and garlic in the dish fegato alla salvia?
Pass.
What is the name of the former lead guitarist with the Smiths who was awarded the Godlike Genius accolade at the 2013 NME Awards?
Johnny Marr.
Yes, who created the American woodsman Natty Bumppo, also known as Hawkeye and Pathfinder, in a series of adventure novels known as the Leather Stocking Tales?
Pass.
The second highest mountain in the world, K2, lies on the border between China and which other country?
Mongolia.
Pakistan. Which Roman hero, immortalised in a poem by Macaulay, is said to have bravely and single-handedly stopped an invading army from crossing a bridge over the Tiber into Rome?
Pass.
Which New Zealand city was founded in 1848 by Scottish settlers and takes its name from the Gaelic name for Edinburgh?
Auckland.
Dunedin. Which city did the poet Matthew Arnold describe in his poem Tircis as that sweet city with her dreaming spires?
Chesterfield.
Oxford. Jacob, Swaledale and Clun Forest are all breeds of which farm animal?
Sheep.
Yep. The light, porous, whitish mineral sepiolite, whose principal use is for tobacco pipes, has an alternative name that comes from the German for sea foam. What is it?
Pass.
What is the name of the singer who left his backing band, the Tremolos, to pursue a solo career but ended up running his family's butcher shop as well as his own record company?
Pass.
An arrangement of a composer's funeral march of a marionette was used as the theme music for the television series Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Which composer?
Pass.
Musophobia is an irrational fear of which rodent?
Rat.
Yeah, mice and rats. Yeah. You have 8 passes, Robin. Gounod was that composer, Funeral March of a Marionette. Brian Poole was the singer who left the Tremolos. Meerschaum is that light porous material that they make pipes from, amongst other things. Horatius was the Roman hero who stopped the army crossing the bridge. James Fenimore Cooper wrote the Leather Stocking Tales. The liver is what you get in Fegato alla Salvia. Field of the Cloth of Gold, that's the name given to that campsite near Calais. And haemophilia is what Alexei suffered from. Yeah. You have a total, Robin, of 19 points. And now Matthew again, please. And you also start out with 12 points with your knowledge of Middlesbrough. 19 is the score to beat as it stands. Let's see if we can do that. Here we go. Gossamer and ping pong are early names of which game?
Table tennis.
Yeah. Which playwright is the subject of Matthew Arnold's poem that opens with the line, "Others abide our question, thou art free"?
Sylvia Plath.
Shakespeare. Who performed the hit songs Halo and Crazy in Love during the halftime interval of the 2013 Super Bowl, shortly before a power cut plunged the stadium into darkness?
Destiny's Child.
That was Beyoncé. Which southern county is the largest in the Republic of Ireland?
County Cork.
Yep. An author best known for presenting television programmes with her husband wrote the best-selling novels Eloise in 2012 and I Do Not Sleep in 2015. What's her name?
Pass.
What alternative name for the wolverine, a member of the weasel family, is often used as a term for a greedy person?
Weasel.
Glutton. Who composed the Symphonie Fantastique, first performed in Paris in 1830?
Handel.
Berlioz. The islands of Santa Rosa, San Miguel and Santa Catalina, collectively known as the Channel Islands, lie off the Pacific coast of which American state?
Florida.
California. The verse drama Murder in the Cathedral by T.S. Eliot concerns the death of which historical figure?
Thomas à Becket.
Yes. Which body of water that forms a link between the Red Sea and the Arabian Sea is named after a port in southern Yemen, a former British Crown colony?
Pass.
Who ran 100 metres in 9.77 seconds, his slowest time yet in a major final, to win his second World Championship gold medal in the event in Moscow in August 2013?
Usain Bolt.
Yep. In which country did the Vorticism movement briefly flourish before the First World War? It was equivalent to Cubism in France and Futurism in Italy.
Germany.
England. What revolutionary song composed in France in the late 19th century was the national anthem of the Soviet Union from 1921 until 1944?
Pass.
Which animal and wildlife welfare organisation has its headquarters at the Lodge, a nature reserve near the Bedfordshire town of Sandy?
RSPCA.
RSPB. Which band formed in Clydebank near Glasgow in 1982 took its name from a line in Scritti Politi's song Getting, Having and Holding?
Pass.
What programme devised for radio in 1959 by Cliff Adams for his group the Adams Singers continued until his death in 2001?
Pass.
Which is the oldest bridge across the River Seine in Paris? Its name means New Bridge.
Pass.
If a piece of gold is marked 16 carats, how many parts of alloying material does it contain?
12.
No, not bad, but it's 8. 8 parts, or a third, you could have said, apparently. Anyway, there we are. You had 6 passes. The oldest bridge across the River Seine in Paris, its name means New Bridge, actually Pont Neuf. That programme devised for radio in 1959 by Cliff Adams was Sing Something Simple. The revolutionary song composed in France was the Internationale. Wet, Wet, Wet was the name of that band that was formed in Clydebank. Gulf of Aden, that's the body of water that forms the link between the Red Sea and the Arabian Sea. And Judy Finnegan wrote Eloise and I Do Not Sleep. You have now, Matthew, 16 points. And finally, Sarah, again, please. And you start this round with 13 points. The score to beat is 19. Let's see if you can do it with your general knowledge. 2.5 minutes starting now. Which tree appears on the flag of the Lebanon?
A cedar.
Yep. Which novel did Robert Louis Stevenson claim he conceived as a boy's action story while he was staying at the late Miss McGregor's cottage in Braemar?
Kidnapped.
Treasure Island. Who was chairman of the Palestine Liberation Organization from 1969 and president of the Palestinian Authority from 96 until his death in 2004?
Yasser Arafat.
Yeah. At which sporting event did John Isner and Nicholas Mahou compete against each other for a record 11 hours and 5 minutes in June 2010?
Tennis.
No, Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
Which tall tourist attraction in Lancashire was designed by the Manchester architects Maxwell and Tuke? It was completed in 1894 and now has Grade 1 listed building status.
Pass.
What is the name of the actor and director who played Rowdy Yates, the second in command of a team of cattle drovers in the 60s television series Rawhide?
Pass.
In the title of a Janacek opera, the animal Sharp Ears is known as the cunning little...
Vixen.
Yep. The Meteorological Office was part of a government ministry before transferring to the Department for Business, Innovation and Skills in 2011. Which ministry?
Pass.
The television roles of an actress include the romantic novelist Mary Fisher in the adaptation of Fay Weldon's The Life and Loves of a She-Devil and the title character's mother, Penny, in Miranda. Which actress?
Pass.
What are traditionally made on the Sunday before Advent, popularly known as Stir-Up Sunday?
Christmas cakes.
Christmas puddings. Which historic document begins when, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another?
The American Declaration of Independence.
Yes. Which French author, best known for his swashbuckling historical novels, wrote a dictionary of cuisine? Its publication was delayed by the outbreak of the Franco-Prussian War.
Escoffier.
No, Dumas. The Ponte Vecchio, completed in 1345 and built by Teleo Gaddi, spans which river?
The Tiber.
The Arno. In mathematics, the sieve of Eratosthenes is used as a method of finding what particular type of numbers?
Prime.
Yes, the Hungarian-American film director Michael Curtiz won his only Oscar for a 1942 film starring Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. Which film?
The Maltese Falcon.
Casablanca. In Greek mythology, which beautiful youth killed by a wild boar was allowed by Zeus to spend half a year with his lover Aphrodite and the other half in Hades?
Pass.
What execution device is featured in a series of works by Andy Warhol? He eventually acquired one himself and is said to have sat in it to watch horror films.
Electric chair.
Is correct. You have 5 passes. Sarah, Adonis was the beautiful youth who spent half his time with his lover and half the time in hell, or Hades. Patricia Hodge was the actress. The Ministry of Defence is where the Met Office used to be. Clint Eastwood played Rowdy Yates, and the Blackpool Tower, and now has Grade 1 listed building status. So, those 5 passes, Sarah, you have 19 points. Well, how close is that? Let's have a look at all the scores. In 4th place, 13 points, Des Gallagher. 3rd place, 16 points, Matthew Smith. 2nd place with 19 points and 9 passes, Robin Armstrong. 1st place with 19 points and 6 passes, Sarah Greenan. Which means that Sarah is tonight's winner and goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to her. And if you would like to be a contender in the next series, do go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us on Twitter @mastermindquiz. And do join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.